The shield, the shield, the shield. Hey, we keeping it real under the shield. We back, we back. You see, hey, Rome had to put on the Malcolm X glasses. Hey, let's introduce Rome for you first, man. Rome, tell you how to the people, man.
Hey, what's up, good people, man? You know, when I picked these glasses out, what was my man Idris Elba character on The Wire? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go there when he started taking that economics class. I said, yeah, them the glasses I need right there.
He also was selling a lot of dope too. So
Hey,
forget.
I don't know about that dope. I don't know about that dope. I be pushing hope out here for these folks.
Ain't no wrong. Hey, pushing that other type of brick. I'm with you. And to my right, I got my man Lim with the white sweater on. Say something to the people, Lim.
Well, we back again, everybody. You know what it is. We're gonna bring the noise, the heat. Grab your popcorn, your Slim Jim, or your caramel apple. You do what you got to do. We about to bring it to you live.
Okay, cool, cool. So look, let's hey, without further ado, let's pick up where we left off last week, right? Because we want to spend all of this time for a good time. Not a long time, but a good time. You know? Me and Rome always say that one. We gotta hit that drink. But okay, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We got some housekeeping stuff. Let's go over the breaking news, right? Let's go over the gossip stuff. Come on, man. What you got? What's happening in the world?
Well, man, y'all gonna love this. So Kendrick Lamar broke records on Spotify, one of the first artists to do 100 million downloads. But that comes at a caveat. There's been a contingent of, I'm just going to say it, white folk who said this was the worst Super Bowl performance of all time. Even the time when Janet had the nip slip, it was worse than that. They said that, man, it was too black, too strong, too back to Africa, Dr. Umar. And they don't want that no more. So next year, guess what's gonna happen, y'all? I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of MAGA hats and country singers doing the honky tonk. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause they like, ain't gonna be no crip walking next year. What y'all think about this?
Is that all that's happening in the breaking news? Because I don't want to talk about them folks. What up, Low? What else?
What's up,
What else?
Mo? We appreciate you. Hey, I'll say this, man. Kendrick gave everybody that 1-2 punch that you didn't see coming. Each and every one of us out there then seen and didn't necessarily want to see whether it was real life or the TV. When you hit somebody with that haymaker that they didn't see coming, and the next thing you know, you picking that person up. Well, guess what? America got punched in the mouth at the right time, but the wrong person. You know, they gave that man that spotlight, and he gave everybody what they wanted, whether they wanted it or not, what they needed in the moment, and it's been the most talked about thing. I seen the Native Americans do a little skit to it earlier. They had like five ladies, and they was doing the reenactment of it, and I thought that was powerful because I started thinking about the 12 tribes of Israel when I think of those things. So for it to reach the Native Americans, that's big, bro.
Hey, the only thing I got to say about it is I saw this Instagram post that just it took me on out of here. It said, I wish we was breaking down the Bible like we broke down that Kendrick Lamar. It was like I hope we breaking down the Bible just like that. Can we break down these Bible stories?
Oh man.
Kendrick Jordan. And I thought that was really, really good. I was like, hey, that's good because everybody has something to say about Kendrick. No, this meant this, and this. Did you see this in the background? I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So, all right, is that the breaking news? Other than all of these planes crashing and all of this stuff flipping upside down and the weather is real crazy. It's almost March and it was 7 degrees in Chicago when I was up there. Man, pray for the people, man. It's a matter of fact, I was over my shout out to my cousin Heike. She lost her grandma. I was over her house, with her. We were spending time together, and then we heard a knock on the window, and she having a whole conversation with the person outside. It was like she was like, "No, my labor don't live here. He lived next door. And then so he was like, "Well, what's your name?" And then so she going back and forth, and I looked at her like, "Well, why are you having this conversation with her?" And then so after the conversation was over, like 5 minutes went past, and she was like, "Man," I was like, "What happened?" She was like, that was that's ice. dude, she, dude, that was ice trying to get my mans. And I was like, wow, they out here really taking and hemming people up in the snow. It was
That's
snowing
crazy.
outside there. Ice was out there knocking on the windows. So I'm just telling my people to be safe. That's all I'm saying. Please be safe out here. It's critical, crucial times. So let's get into the actual subject of the matter. I see you, Lim. Let's dive in deep. Okay, so just to remind my people that's just joining in that wasn't here last week, it was a really, really good topic last week, right? We talked about black history, one thing led to another, and then we got into this stat that the young men, I didn't say women, the young men 18 to 25 are not approaching women anymore. They have yet to ask a woman on a date or even ask for the actual phone number. And then back in the day, people know what I'm talking about. They came out with a song with Morris Day. Now, baby, what's your phone number? So they used to ask for the number back then. And they used to have a paper pen. Ask for the number. Excuse me, miss. Do you want to have a dance? Can I have this dance? Can I take you out tonight, Luther? I'll pay your rent. I mean, they had all the stuff. I know them. I hear you. I'm telling you the songs that used to happen back in the day, and right now, Blueface them and Trippy Red them talking about some different. So what I'm saying, Kodak Black them talking about some different type of stuff. So I think we really have to address this new millennium. And let me just say this with the new generation, Gen X, right? Let me
No, no,
just,
not X, not X. Z.
I'm sorry, Gen Z. Let me say this. I'm not doing this to talk about the young people, and I think we're supposed to have a guest here in a minute, right? But I'm not here to talk about the people, but I'm trying to educate. That's what we're trying to do. We want you to learn what it used to be, what it is now, and how you can merge, right? Because I think it's important to be able to listen to some of the old heads. We know you feel like they got a lot of gray or ain't got no hair on the top. I get it, but you got to be able to listen. So we're going to come on because see Lim licking at the chops. We're going to bring him in first. And because Lim's still on out here, he was telling you about the stats with the DMs. Go ahead, shoot, Lim.
Well, so just to piggyback off what you were saying, I read the article where it says ages 18 and 24, 50% of men have never approached a woman in person in their life. And it goes from 18 to 35. In the last year, they haven't as well. So not only are women feeling, well, men feeling this, women have even said, even ages beyond that, men are not approaching them as much anymore. So I looked into some of the reasons why, particularly why this may be happening. One, of course, we know about social media, online dating. Okay. It has made us, in my humble opinion, all of us, anybody who's single, that should say men and women, have become a little bit lazier because of the convenience of being able to jump off in somebody's DM or jump off in somebody's inbox in their on a dating site. You can do it from home. You can do it sitting on the toilet. You don't have to be dressed. You can do it without having any pressure that somebody can say here's the big word. No, you're not good enough. You're not my type. We're not compatible. You're not attractive. Those are some of the reasons that men and women, but specifically talking about men, are afraid to approach women. They say the rejection factor has deterred men. Now, I see Lo smiling. Now, this rejection factor, the reason why this is important is because men back in the 90s got rejected. Nobody was batting 1,000. Men in the 60s got rejected with the Isley brothers. Nobody was batting 1,000. Nobody gets every woman they want. So if you understand, there's going to be times where a woman not feeling you. And it's okay, fellas. I'm speaking to my Gen Z brothers. It's okay, fellas, if you're not a woman's type. It's not an indictment on your character. It's not an indictment on your persona. It just you just wasn't their type. And the good news is, if the woman that rejects you is setting you up for the woman who's been waiting for you. And bless your heart, if you live in a bigger town or city, you got many opportunities, fellas, to get at these beautiful women. There are a lot of women sitting at home right now wishing that a man would come and approach them and speak to them and engage with them and ask them out. And you ain't got to take them to no five-star steakhouse. You ain't got to buy them a Rolls Royce. You ain't got to fly them to Dubai. All they want is you to what? Open your mouth. Come on, somebody come on in here.
But let me
I'm
let me
feeling good right here.
let me
Come on
switch
in.
gears. I'm gonna ask a question to Rome, and then I'm gonna give it to him. Right.
Okay.
So for the Gen Z people, Rome, can you explain what used to happen when we was all in the club and we go up behind a girl and we try to dance, and she turned around and was like, "Oh, and then she was like, "No," like, and then keep moving or dancing with her homegirls. Can you explain that level of rejection so people will know what that really was? See, right now they don't know. That's why I had to bring up a real example. So tell them, walk them through that, and then give us your take.
Hey, that's a great question, first and foremost. So, Lim and everybody out there that's from a different coast, when you from the Midwest, I don't care if it's Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, Gary, Indiana, Cleveland, Cincinnati, they operate the same. What do I mean? We can go to a nightclub and the people our age are still operating like that today. I'm telling you, the Gen Xers are still operating like that today. So in the Midwest, we have what they call house music, techno music. They put a little something to it. There's some girls in this house. You hear something like that, see him point them out. You know, time for the percolator. Look at low. And it bring, hey, hey,
He brought up something, man. Hey, he brought up something.
hey, we had this nightclub. It was called Maxie's. And I remember we went there. It was like a little high school spot. Everything was cool when it was the two schools that's cool with each other. My school, Cooley, Redford. Once we start getting all the other schools start knowing about the spot, there lies the trouble. But what Los is talking about, you come up behind the girl dancing to that same house music. The girl would look back. If you wasn't to her physical likings, you know what they would do? The Midwest is known for, in Chicago, stepping, in Detroit, ballroom. They will spin off of you in a heartbeat and leave you. I mean, this was worse than getting dunked on. I'll be honest with you. It happened because if the girl just not feeling, you got to remember, I was barely 125 soaking wet, man. And if them girls look at you like, oh no, they spin off of you. You sitting there like with the face of rejection. You looking around like, what do I do now? And all you can do when you somebody as silly as me, you just spin off right on over there to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And just keep it moving. But it was a brutal thing. So to talk to the young folks out there today, it's kind of one of those things that they'll never really get the experience because it seems like when I go out and about and I see the young folks now, they don't really dance overall like that. The women are dancing with their homegirls, the men dance with their fellas off to the side, but nobody's getting on the dance floor. And I give you guys a prime example. A few years back, this would have been like maybe 2010, 11. We go to we go to the JR Crickets here. Losa know that it's a little restaurant, but they turned it into a little. They play the music. They had a DJ on Fridays at this time, and it was one of our homegirls' birthday. So my boy Tonio said, "Hey man, we about to go on this dance floor because he wasn't gonna let nobody show him up on that dance floor." So I'm like, "Man, ain't nobody out there." So he started grabbing the girls from the table we was at and went on the dance floor. People don't dance so much now that we was looking like rock stars. People was coming up to us, man, y'all tore this place up. Where you from? And people was just, I mean, it was like, I work at this place. And I was sitting up here like, it's just dancing. Like, I don't understand why y'all just can't get up and approach the young lady. Hey, can I have this dance and take? But literally, we really didn't ask because they was at our table. We just grabbed their hand, took off, and started dancing. But that art of having that seventh, remember that Los, remember that Lim, that seventh and eighth grade dance, that was big.
No,
Like,
yeah.
I'm talking about, I remember people like, man, you going to that dance? Man, I'm going. Who you bringing? I ain't bringing nobody, but I know who I'm showing up for. That's the whole thing. It was like, I know who I'm showing up for. So it's that art of bringing that, you know what I'm saying? The young folks say swag. It's bringing that swag along with using your mouthpiece to talk and you know, woo the young lady to get out there to dance, to get the phone number. You know, that's what I encourage you fellas to do. That's my take.
So I'm gonna switch up too for Lim. I was reading this article as well. They said a lot of the guys nowadays, you know, as long as along with the fear of rejection, they got concerns about being perceived as being creepy
Yeah.
in the wake of the Me Too movement,
Yeah.
all the platform increase. I mean, because all this uncertainty with the online dating, and a lot of them. This is what I want you to tackle, though, Lim. Can you talk to the people about the new generation not having the appropriate social cues?
Okay. All right. But before I do that, I want to touch on one thing you said about the creepy and me too. Back when I was in junior high school, I don't know if y'all did this, but I'm just gonna keep it a buck. The girl that you like with the big, you know what? We go and tap her on the butt. You can't do that no more.
You
But
can
we
do
was
that.
we was managed. I'm just saying we was managed.
No, that's
So we
sexual
could,
harassment, though. So
and
people,
what now it is, it wasn't back in back
that's
in.
still that's in every era that's sexual
Nah.
harassment,
It
unless
wasn't in my era. I'm just speaking from my era. But we used to do that. Hey, if she liked you, you
no,
gotta
that was different. Like if it was warranted and she
right,
said
right, 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 right.
you knew it
But
was
we was
cool.
just yeah, we was just managed. It was just but anyway, I'm not telling anybody, advocating anybody to do that. I'm just saying what we used to do. And that was our way of showing a little girl. It's better than back in the day the kids hit on each other when they like each other. You're like, hey, why you keep hitting me? Johnny keep hitting me because he like you. Well, then he should kiss me, not hit me. Anyway. So back to your question.
I know
Back
they ain't
to
said that. I know you lied. Look, Rom, I know you lied. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But that's what kids do. Anyway, back to what you said. So the awkwardness of the social cues. The deal is this. A lot of times the generation now, they don't even know what to look for when a woman is interested. The eye contact that she may give you, or the eye contact you may get. There's certain body language that you can read in people that will tell you if you got the green light, the pathway is clear, it's time to get up the chair and go get them. However, there are people who've mastered the art of cold approach. Let's talk about the cold approach. The cold approach is I ain't got no signals, I ain't seen nothing. I'm just that man. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm just that ninja. I'm gonna go up there, do my little. I got a spill, I got a 1-2. I'm gonna give him a 1-2, chicken and a biscuit, and I'm pulling something off the table. But the biggest one Rome hit on, women like to dance. And if you bold enough, hold on. If you bold enough to ask a woman to dance, sometimes that opens up the field. I've seen one man ask one woman to dance, and other women, when he got through dancing with her, came and want to dance with him. Because most dudes, especially nowadays, they standing against the wall. They wallflowers. Ain't nobody dancing. You go to a, I'm just gonna speak on black folks. You go to a black folks party, pool party, ain't nobody in the water. Ain't nobody in the water at the pool party. Everybody standing around the pool. They trying to look cool. I just bought some new J's, dude. I didn't bring no swim trunk. Women like, I ain't trying to get my hair wet. You know how long it took me to get this hair done? So you think I'm gonna get in that water? So all of this awkwardness is happening, but what's not happening, guys, there's no engagement and we missing to be able to just talk to one another, even if it's not on no love connection. Being able, to, I admire Los for this. Being able to just be cool with women, right? I'm not trying to get in your pants. I'd say, hey, how you doing? What y'all got going on? Where y'all? Well, let's all hang together. Let's go get a bite to eat. Right? Even that is lost. So if you can hang with women, and then it'll be easier for you to approach them when it is on some love connection. But back to what I'm saying, body language is important. It's also to look into a woman's eyes. You can see if she's, if she's interested by if she keeps looking at you, looking your way. Sometimes women have even gotten up, Lord forgive, they've gotten up and made their presence known. But I've talked to enough women to know that they will say, hey, when I'm interested in a man, I'm going to let him know. He will know.
Mm,
I love it. I love it. Romy, so what you think about the social anxieties? Speak
mm.
about that. A lot of people don't like to be around people. A lot of people don't understand, like, if I'm there, it's really awkward. Like, what happens if we quiet in the car together for more than 2 minutes? Like, is that and people get real anxiety about
Anxiety.
stuff like this. So talk to us about that. Cause see, what I want to do is knock on people's door. I don't want to just talk generally speaking. Let's not. This was some people really, really dealing with. So hit us wrong with the social anxieties, please.
I'm hoping my cousin get on here. I keep looking down to see if she's texting me like she having any trouble, but we'll see. Hopefully she gets on, because she's a millennial, and I want to hear from her perspective if she's experiencing this. But I will rock the boat a little bit prior to answering that question. I think what's going on is not that the 50% is not necessarily talking to the young ladies in person, because every woman out there, whichever generation, whether they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, they can tell you they get approached by men all the time, but it's not the men that they're attracted to. Just like we gave this example of being in the Midwest dancing with the young lady, they look back and you not up to par, they was spinning off of you. The women out here today, I tell you, I have no problem with the ones, no teeth, this and this running up to me, or somebody that's a foot shorter than me running up the 5 foot dude, knowing I'm 5'10". What I'm gonna do with that? Like, they tell you those things all the time. So I feel like the social anxiety is for the people who are timid, who are shy. I can just speak from my own, shoes back at the age of like 13. I just remember just like being like, man, what do I say to the girl? What do I do when I see somebody out and about? And I always was one of those that played basketball, so all of my friends was 2, 3 years older. And they were like, man, I'll show you what to do. And it's easy. So we go to the mall and you just see them run up to the group of young ladies like, hey, I'm saying, my name is this. I find you attractive. I want to get to know you better. Like, whoa, it's that simple. That was just a simple. It wasn't no game with it. It was just straight to the point. And it sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But it was like it taught you, you gonna shoot your shot. You gonna miss some of them. But anybody out there know, real hoopers know, shooters have to continue to shoot. They never let themselves get out of the game. People can say what they want, God rest his soul, with Kobe, but that dude knew he had to put in the work, and he was not afraid to take that last second shot again and again and again. So I think that anxiety just comes from people's personality. Some people just not that good in front of another person. They get really nervous, things of that nature. So I always just say, do some breathing techniques. Inhale, exhale before you ring that doorbell. Before you meet the mom and the dad, because the dads today, boy, I can only imagine how tough it is to come to somebody's doorstep today, because it's a little more intense right now with the social medias. Like, people are recording everything. So it's like the scene out of Bad Boys. Y'all remember that scene in Bad Boys 2 where they came to the kid came to the door. He was nervous, like I'm saying, and they like, you ever been to jail? He said, no. You want to go? So I feel like you have those anxieties, and you just have to learn to do the breathing techniques to get over that nervousness, so that you can be your normal self. Just like when you see her at school, you can talk to her at school. It's the same deal. You can have that same courage and confidence to speak to it, because ladies, young ladies and women love confidence.
I love it. I love it. Well, I mean, so for me, I'm gonna just keep it real with you. I'm gonna just tell you, at the end of the day, rejection is a part of being a man. I tell my sons all the time, it's a part. You gonna have to be rejected. You might as well start now. And so if she say no now, it's a numbers game. So I don't care. And I tell my sons, I don't care if you in sales or not. You got to be able to go out here because you're gonna hear no. Guess I mean, because what I want you to do is envision all my grown people out here. I want you to envision the most nervous time you had in your life. That test you was getting ready to take, the job interview you had, with the whole board members, or you saying your Easter speech, or whatever it is. Just think about it. It's over now, and that's the same thing gonna happen when you go up to baby girl. Whether you stuttering or not, like Moses, it's either she gonna say yay or nay. Life goes on. And so for all those people that are introverts, that don't really have the confidence to go out here and shoot your shot, you gotta be able to understand, you gotta be able to speak. Because Big Mama say, closed mouth, don't get fed. You got to be able to go out and just approach. And so that's one thing I loved about our era. Like I came up, and it's a blessing and a curse. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like I used to go out with all my older cousins. Like Rome said, all his friends were 2, 3 years older. My cousins was older, and we used to go to like Six Flags. And guess what? Whoever didn't come home with no numbers, hey, you was the one that was getting whooped. So everybody would jump on you, man. And I'm talking about for like 3 minutes, like, and so everybody had to get at least one number, and then so we all get on the bus, and then we all have our numbers, and whoever had the least, hey, dog, you ain't want to be there. I'm gonna just put it to you like this, and then it got, and I shouldn't put all my business out here, but it was long time ago. But this even used to happen in the church conventions. We used to go to the conventions where all the chicks used to be. And at the end of the day, whoever did not come home with them. I remember one day, I'm talking about myself. I remember one day I was the youngest in the crew, and I ain't get no numbers, right? I ain't get no numbers, right? And then my cousin was like, man, I'm gonna help you, man. He was like, just write with your left hand and put a number down. You put a number down there. And I'm looking at him like, I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't want to just fake no number, man. And I was like, man, forget it. I'm just going to take the L. So we going back to the bus. I'm nervous because I didn't want to take the L. I did not want to take the L. We going back to the bus, and it was a one chick. Her friend came up right before we got off the bus. She was like, my friend want to talk to you, and gave me her number. We got on the bus, and they was like, "Oh, you got the baddest one there." But I won the game that day. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, all I'm saying to you is, it was ruthless back then. You think bullying and stuff is crazy now? It was way crazier back then. So the principle is, let's talk about solutions. Since Rome cousin not here yet, so let's talk about solutions. What should we do in order to still be respectful? Because I mean, see, it's people out here, and Lauren, shout out to Lo. We talk about this all the time, right? Chivalry still exists, and so some women gonna teach you exactly how to treat them. Hey, I want you to walk on the right side of the street. I want you to open up the car door for me. That's important to some women, and some women it's not, right? I like flowers, or don't buy me flowers. I like nice restaurants, or I like to experience different things. You ain't got to buy me this, but I like that, or whatever it is. It's all about learning your partner and what she likes, right? And so I'm gonna get this to Lim because it's unfortunate because a man got to do a lot of work. And so I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to Lim because a man has to do
A lot.
a lot of work. I don't think it's fair because I'm just saying, on the flip side, I don't think it's fair. I get it. And then a lot of times you do all that for nothing. They some of them don't even know, they already know they don't like you. But you come in with the wine and then dine, and then, ooh, he might look cute, girl, because the way he bought that bottle of rosé while we was in the club, and the way he bought that dinner, and the bill came up to $350, knowing I wasn't gonna go home with him, and then he gonna look at me like he was gonna get a good night kiss. But you already knew. Come on, Lam. I'm gonna leave. Get on up out of there.
All right. So before we do that, I'm going to state, I'm going to come back to that. But I want to talk about some things that men have gone through, kids, young men, old men, whomever, have gone through. Sweaty palms before you're gonna go up to her. Heart start beating real fast. So these are some of the things that we go through, man, before we about to approach that bad chick or just any woman that we think is someone we want to approach. Now, here's the deal, and you have to remember this. When you're just getting started and approaching women, you don't approach a pack of women. You start with just one. Act like in the Animal Planet. Isolate that little baby deer. Then you approach her first. You don't go after a pack. The other thing is, in order to stop some of that heavy breathing, sweaty palms, heart racing, is you have to remember this. She's just a woman. You're not gonna. She's not gonna stop you from paying your rent. You're not gonna lose your car if she say no. Your mama ain't gonna stop loving you if she say no. It's just her. She's one of 4 billion women on the planet. So her opinion is small. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go into your part, Los. There was a old man once told me something,
What'd he say?
and he said, "If a woman don't want you, well, let me say it like I'm gonna say it like he really said. He really said. He said, "Is hey, if she don't want you, it's her bad. Something wrong with her." Don't and so this was just a way for a man to have build up his confidence. Now, the second thing I want to say before I answer your thing, Los, real quick, is the what young men are missing nowadays is they not going to the mall. The mall was a wonderful practice ground for us to learn how to get numbers and walk up to women, and we used to play the game. Guys would go to the mall and be like, dude, how many numbers? Like, Los, how many numbers you gonna get today? Right? But it's good because it's just an open area. All the girls are there to meet guys, right? So they want looking for that. So many of relationships started at the mall. So I wish we had that now today. Now to segue to what Los is saying and get right back into that is it is true, fellas. We have to go through a lot, and it's no guarantee that you can bend over backwards, do the flowers, go spend a lot of money, do all of the signaling, and you still may not have her undivided attention, or even she may not like you. That's a fact. So the truth be told, we have to be very, I don't use the word calculated, but we have to be have use discernment in who's worthy of our time, our resources, right? Understanding how what a woman her cues are before you spend all that money. That's very important. So I'm gonna pass it to Ron and let him pick up the slack on this one. But yeah, it's good stuff. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, that was a good question, and that was good a response on your part, Lim. So I would say, like you just said, I'm gonna use it in the boxing. When you box, you have to go and spar, and the sparring gets you prepared for the actual match. And so, having that mall experience, that's where the young ladies was at. You would get that experience of being able to be challenged. Like I can tell you, uh, if I grew up in Chicago with Los or Lim in LA, I can tell you these two brothers are competitive, and I can see it right now. Like I bet you, like Los still there today. I bet you, and he'll say it, and it's like it could be something about scriptures, whatever it is, but he'll tell you. I bet you. So it's one of those things where when you have that competitive nature at such a young age, and you got one of your fellow brothers telling you, I bet you can't get 5 numbers today. I bet you can't get 10. And we ain't talking about making up no numbers. We talking about, like Lo said, that Chicago side, they church kids talk about you gonna get lumped up. So what you think the cats on the streets doing to you if this is what they doing? So my take on the whole thing is, in today's world, social media is right at your hands. Challenge yourself to go to networking events. Like for work, I have to go to networking events. Usually it's once a month, and I usually, to stay in the times, I usually use one of the sayings that's going on today. So for the Christmas event that I went to, I seen a young lady sitting over at the table, and I had the network for the architects, and I was thinking, what can I say to break the ice? And I was like, hey, because they was eating some dessert. I said, we listen and we don't judge. And they bust out laughing. So I introduced myself. They told me who they work for. But networking events is probably the best thing that I can tell these young folks. It could be a gaming event because you're going to meet other gamers there. You could go to something when it's dealing with work. But test your networking skills just by going to those things so you can start getting used to engaging with people, being sociable, because it's easy to hide behind the screen and send Lim and Los and Lo an email, but can I have that same chemistry in person with these individuals? So just as much confidence as I have on screen, I got to be able to have it in person as well. And if you got to psych yourself up, you got to do that. You know how many boxers have to talk to themselves before they go out there to that ring and become that animal, that beast in that ring. You got to be a different person when you come in there. Let's see what Lo said here. Just getting numbers for practice is why women don't take men serious. Like what he didn't even call. Now, and that's another thing, man. I remember back in the days, people would say, don't call that girl the same day that you got the number. And I'm looking like, well, wait a minute. When are you supposed to call the girl then? What if she forget about me? Like I'm calling her 3 days later. She done been to the mall 3 more days. In my mind, that's how I was thinking. How's she gonna remember me out of all the numbers she may have taken? And everybody said, no, man, don't do that. You don't want. Now we would call it thirsty. They used to say you don't want to look desperate. That was the thing. Wait 3 days, and you gotta wait. So it's like one of those things where you gotta basically put yourself in an environment to have social conversations, because that'll help you guys out. Los, what's your take?
Man, look, I got Uncle Los here. I say put the video games down. I'm tired of y'all screaming at the video games, playing what is it called? Grand Theft Auto and all the stuff they playing. My thing is you don't have the ability to socialize like that. You got to be able to go to, if you're in college, you got to, or in high school, you got to be able to talk to some of the girls in class. You got to be able to make them laugh. You got to be able to get back to the basics. This is what this is about. Turn off your phone and let's talk. Forget the texting. Forget the pictures. Forget all of that. Let me see you in person. Ooh, I like the way you. Cause see, believe it or not, I'm gonna tell the guy's secret. I know Lim ain't gonna like this, right? But sometimes dudes like the body language better than we like the Texas. So the way you made that little face when I said the joke, that's better than you texting me or you sending me a picture or us sexing, if you will. It's a little bit better if you could do it in person. Because now I know it's really real. You see what I'm saying? Everybody could play the shot role. Everybody could be the gangster or the thug. And to Rome, let me correct them, these wasn't church boys. These was dudes that knew where the girls was, which was church. They wasn't interested in no church. These was the dudes straight from the block. Cause see, when you went to our church conventions, this was kind of like going to an actual concert. Cause they had different seminars every time. And so while your mama and them in there listening to TD Jakes, and it was him for real at the conference, TDJ, where you think all the kids at? So the kids in the hallway, they you know what I'm saying? They doing all this other. So it was, and I'm sorry, my pastor might be listening. So, so what I'm saying to you is this was the premise. And so back to what Lo was saying, it's not like it's clueless. She don't understand what it feels like to be a man. A man has to go out there to act like, that's why you have to teach baby Simba how to go hunt, the deer. And sometimes you don't kill the deer all the way. You want to be able to show him how to hunt, how to jump on it. No, you can't bite the deer on the back. You got to bite him on the neck. But this is all training. It's called training day. right? So at the end of the day, you got to get the number, even if you, man, she was bad. I don't even know what I'm gonna talk to her about, but I got the number. That's a win. I done got the number, and then so next time you can build up a little bit more courage to call. Cause see, the thing is, this what Lo don't understand, and most women don't understand. One, I'm gonna say it again. One hint of rejection can change a whole man entire life. What makes him don't want to go and do that again ever. Oh, girl, you could go over there and build up all this courage to say, "Ooh, baby girl, you found just want to have this damn." Ugh, guess what? Once you, oh, this is why I love this. That same dude you told he was ugly to, now he got a vendetta against all black girls. Now he'll never date black girls ever in life because he remember 3 girls told him he was ugly, and all the white girls love him. Right? That's one example. And I'm not racist. I'm just throwing that out there. Right? Then I'll flip it. You know, say for example, he built up all this courage to go ask her for her number, and then she went the extra mile. Ugh, I would never talk to somebody like. And then she said something so profound that it stood with him. And so now you end up being all grown and miss this whole opportunity because one thing a woman can say to a man with no confidence can break him for the rest of his life. And that's just real talk. I'm sorry. And then even in relationships, they don't let go of that because rejection is rejection, i.e., your wife. Your wife could not give you some one day. I ain't asking her no more. And now this your real wife. So if you want to go there, come on, Lim, come on in here.
All right, so you stepping in it now. So back to you stepping in it. I'm going to bring up a term for the ladies. It's called vagina entitlement, ladies. And here's what this is about, in case you're not knowing. See, women don't have to face this level of rejection because they're going to get an attention from a man just based upon her inheritance. Okay, you know what that is, to V. And because of her inheritance, there's always going to be a man who's interested. Now, how do you know this, Lim? Because a female crackhead at her lowest form of getting 50 to 100 DM messages a day from random men on her Instagram and Facebook. Did you hear what I said? Not an IG model, not a celebrity, not the Miss Batty Bad. No, no. An average woman is getting hit on every day in her DMs 50 to 100 times a day. So when you're doing that, it gives you a separation from reality because the reality says, I'm not being approached in person. Social media is saying, I'm a dime. The truth of the matter is this: you're not a dime and you're not the worst thing, but you're having an overinflated reality because so many men who are passive aggressively approaching you in online who would never walk up to you in person are saying baby 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 baby, but in person he quiet as a church mouse licking ice. See, this this is what you I'm trying to gauge the field. The reason why ladies, men are always risking so much to approach you is because there are no guarantees that you're going to respond to him in comment. There are no guarantees if he buys you something, you're going to like him. There's no guarantees if he gives you that, whatever that is, that restaurant, take that restaurant you like, right? It's a crapshoot. So, because it's a numbers game for us, we've got to be very diligent with our resources, diligent with our time. We've got to be able to recognize if a woman is not interested, we've got to do it in milliseconds. It's too late to go get the number and then she knows she ain't interested because you got women so slick today, they'll go out a man they ain't interested in and waste his money. That's what they call, ladies, they call dinner 304s. There's dinner 304s that go on dates with men they know they ain't gonna give a kiss to, right? He can't catch a cold with this woman. They gonna let this poor brother spend $500 on dinner, and she gonna take pictures of the food, post it on Instagram. Come on now, for the gram. And she gonna go home to her girls and laugh all night. Girl, I just licked this son of a gun for 500 nickels, and he ain't gonna never see me again. Key. Come on, Ron, before I keep going. Come on, get into this.
Hey, like y'all said, y'all done stepped into this thing. It's funny because they said 18 to 25 or 24. And when you think about it, some of them are fresh out of high school. They going off to college or not going into the working field. Um, and the one thing that you often see a lot of times is uh, people do slide into the DM. So much so the song says it goes down in the DM. It's people jumping in the DMs as a way to approach that individual and shoot their shot today. They don't have to be face to face with that person. That person can be out there in Cali and they live in New York. They just, stand sliding in that DM until that person responds. Like, hey, yeah, I'll go out with you. Where do you stay at? Let's meet at this place. And people waiting for that one opportunity. So, like y'all said, it's like you got to, like a sales rep, you got to be willing to accept the rejection. But like Len was reading it earlier, that's part of the reason why a lot of men aren't approaching the young ladies today is because they don't want to be called a creep. You get all of these different tags that they using out there because of so many different things that's happening out there. That's why for those people who like to approach people at the gym, it's like when is the right time for that young man to come approach you at the gym without being the creep, so it's kind of like that's one of those things where you have to hear from the young ladies because you there's really not the perfect time. You might find somebody on a treadmill that might be a perfect time, you on the one next to her, but I feel like if they in mid workout and they serious about their thing, you'll be looked at as a creep if she's over there doing her squats and you come over there like, hey, I find you. She gonna be looking like, so this dude been looking at me the whole time. You freaking her out. So I think that kind of make people walk on eggshells a little bit depending on where you are. But I said it before, when it's an icebreaker, it's an old school trick I used to use, and I'll pass this on to the young men out there today. Um, I would tell my son this with his friends if he was at 18, 19, 20 today. When you out and about, as a restaurant, anything like that, ask the server to take a pitcher of water to that table with a young lady that you like. If that table busts out laughing and everything, you see their personality, that's when you go approach. If they like, hey, this dude tripping, he broke, he this, leave them alone. That's the wrong group of friends. They don't have no sense of humor. You don't want no parts of that. So that was always my trick because women to this day, even in our age group, they had a tendency to go out deep. And when y'all go out deep, y'all don't realize that a group of 10, not intimidating to men, but the rejection part is the intimidating thing amongst 9 other women's. So you got to make sure. I always tell people, if you want to be approached, be approachable. That's the key thing when you're a young lady out there. Be approachable. Don't have the nasty attitude because that young man didn't do anything to you. It's a way to turn somebody down without being a butthole, as they would say. That's my take.
Well, Lim, I heard you give advice, but in my prime, in my heyday, I used to go up to the groups. I'm talking about it was 5 4 of them. Now it probably was the big girl that wasn't really attractive to want to say, "Come on, girl, it's time to go." But I was able to kind of engage all of them to be able to talk to all of them to be able to try to figure out what's the play, what we doing after this, and where y'all from, whatever, whatever, right? Just to engage in conversation. But let me scale it back and reel this thing back real quick to say this. Can you imagine, right? Can you imagine being 18 or 24 and going to a university, right? And you like a girl in your class, three girls in your class, in fact. Could you imagine trying to get closer to them so you could do an airdrop, so you could possibly get their number and be creative and try to find their IG by looking up their class on the syllabus and try to find? Could you imagine doing all of that work just to be shy and be Twitter fingers at home? Ooh, girl, I saw you in class and you look good today. I was wondering if I could carry your book. Like I just don't understand. So I'm from an era. Well, I went to a black school. I went to HBCU, and so at the end of the day, it was cutthroat. I mean, so shout out to my man Lim. Some girls came in there with the house shoes and the bonnets because it was real early. I get it, and some of them didn't, right? And but at the end of the day, the class was early. I get it. And some people was dressed to impress, and some people they didn't get up yet. But the thing about it is, it was all us trying to figure out life, trying to understand what to do. And we all trying to figure out life together. So as we trying to figure out life together, going to the cafeteria or going to the dorms or going to the intramurals, going to play basketball or going to the student union to go play the games and pool or whatever, or going to the library. It was plenty of play, or going to the club. Y'all always forced to live life together. And could you imagine though? Trying to get somebody DM, just find out on the sign in. Remember, Ron, when you went to class, everybody had to sign in their name on this. This was old school. You had to sign in your name on a sign-in sheet, and then the teacher got 10-minute grace period. So if the teacher didn't come, you could leave. Could you imagine trying to look through that list to try to see what's Tasha Johnson name, and then try to find her Instagram and hoping she would follow you back? And that's too much work, man. Go up to Tasha and see what's good, and ask a creative question like, "What time is it?" Or did you do that homework assignment that's due next week? It did get the party started like that. That was me, and I'm just trying to get the guys of this new generation to put down the phone. Hey, it's a movie. If y'all get a chance, go watch the movie Friday. My man say, put down the gun and put up the dukes like we used to do. Back in our day, we used to throw these hands. And so what I'm saying to you is, put down the phone and talk to old girl. See what she really on, huh? Let's see if we can both put down the phone. And because right now they texting during the movie, like it ain't even the same. We going out to dinner, and we, like Ron was saying, people going out to the dinner, and he looking around, and everybody disengaged. Everybody on their phone and having other engagements, and your mind is somewhere else. Back in the day, it was a song that said, "Your body is here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. You messing me around." So I'm just trying to get you. I'm trying to get you back to where you need to be. Come on with some closing remarks, Lem. What you got for us, King Lemuel?
Yeah, so the closing remarks for the night is this. Fellas, to be honest with you, approaching women is not easy. We're not going to tell you this. But I tell you what, there's some old school principles that may work. Here's a real old school principle for you. There was a time when we was kids. I'm taking it back to the kids. You write a little note to Tasha. Tasha, my name is Lim. I think you cute. Do you think I'm cute? Now, what I need you to do is there's a box for yes and a box for no. And shit, if you want to, we go to maybe. But you would do that, and it was something romantic at a child's age about that. And truth be told, y'all, there's some adult women and, well, women who still think that's kind of cute for a man to be like, you know what? I'm gonna be creative, do something creative. I'm not gonna do the baby, 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 right? I'm gonna take you back to grace to a time where life was simpler, and I'll remind you of your childhood. And some women like that, but that's it. At the end of the day, fellas, I will say this: no, it's not easy approaching women, but it is necessary because it builds character, right? And even in life beyond dating women, in life we face rejection, right? Not every job you're going to qualify for, right? Life's going to tell you no, you can't have the house that you want right now. You can't get the car you want right now. So what do you do when life says no, right? Do you quit and give up and start woe is me and going into a pity party? Or you get yourself up, dust yourself off and say, you know what? That's this time. You got me this time. I'm coming back. I'm coming back for you. And next time when I'm coming back, I'm coming stronger, more confident, right? I'm going to shoot the shot. I'm going to make the shot and I'm going to get what I want. So that's what this really is about. It's not just about women, fellas. It's about your life, right? Rejection and facing your fears is a part of life. That's my word. Go ahead, Brother Ron.
Hey, that's good, King Lemuel. But let me just pause you right there. Because if you doing the whole "Do you like me?" yes or no, that's equivalent to when we was kids, and that's what grown men are doing now in the DM. Do you like me? Yes or no? You can't. You got to be able to grow. And so I don't. I mean, even if you think that's sweet, I get
No,
it.
not me. The women, some women like that.
I'm just saying,
Not me.
even if a woman think that's sweet,
Right.
that's scaling back. I thought, once you're young, you drink milk, then you go to table food, then you go to steak, then you go to lobster, shrimp. You can't feed no baby no lobster or
These are 18 to 24-year-olds, Los. We got to start somewhere, brother.
no, forget all that. Come on, Romy, closing remarks, baby.
Hey, so this is what I'll say to the 18 and 24-year-old kids out there, because we the unks today. Um, I said on here before, I think it's 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I had to break up a domestic dispute with a young couple. They was in this age group. Now, keep in mind, the young fella was the street dude that these young ladies are attracted to sometimes. My man had the 9 right there on his hip. No strap, no everything. So I'm sitting there like, man, do I get involved or do I walk away? The Holy Spirit hit me and said, go break that up. Once the Holy Spirit hits you, you got to do what you got to do. You can see the young man looking to me for help, like, hey, break this up. I don't want to hit the young lady. So I broke it up. I told old girl, hey, baby girl, go home. It ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? She's saying her piece. He's saying his piece. We break it up. I said, hey, I told him, use your head. Don't let 2 seconds of anger have you locked up for the rest of your life over some foolishness. I say all of that to say, young men, speak to the women in your life that you respect. If it's an older sister, if it's your mother, if it's an auntie, if it's somebody that was like a mother to your godparent, talk to them so that you can learn how to approach these young ladies because they'll give you some real game. I remember when I was in high school one time, it was a young lady that I really liked a lot. And she wasn't giving me the time of day. And I just got fed up. I'm like, man, let me go talk to a woman. So I was like, hey, what would you do in this? She said, give her space. And I took that as leave her alone, and I stopped talking to her altogether. The attention she was getting from me, she realized like, whoa, this dude not talking to me anymore. I I definitely gotta, figure this thing out. We ended up having a conversation. So going into the senior year, it was a different friendship opposed to where it was before. So I had moved on, but I had to learn the hard way that rejection was a real thing. So you are going to face some rejection, but don't be angry. The Bible says, be ye angry, but do not sin. So don't sin. Don't beat the young lady up. Don't go in there disrespecting her. Move on. Big Mama, as Los will do for you all, Big Mama used to say, listen, if it's always another bus on the way. This one right here don't work out. You get off, wait for the next bus to come along. That's why they have what they call a bus sketch. The bus being a reference to another young lady that'll walk into your life that you'll see that you like, and you exchange information, take it from there. That's my take, young fellas and young ladies.
Well, I like that one. There's always another bus on the way. I'm going to have to write that to the list. My big mama ism is a watch pot never boils. And
Mm.
so you gotta add some fire to that thing. And I want to get that to the young men and young women of today. I want y'all to be able to stop watching the pot, throw a little fire under that thing to make it happen, right? And make it boil. And so what that means is you got to be able to live your life. Live your life to the fullest. Stop being scared, man. Life is a little bit more than just going out here and being on the video games and being antisocial. You got to be able to speak and being able to express yourself. I tell my kids all the time, I want y'all to be self-expressive. I don't care who you talking to. I don't care if it's an adult. You got to be respectful, but I want you to express. You ain't never gonna get in trouble for expressing yourself. No, I don't think it went down like that. No, Miss Johnson, that ain't how it happened. With all due fairness and respect, this is what happened. And you got to be able to express yourself. And I mean, I always been like that. That's probably why I got in a lot of trouble and whatever. But I was always, you ain't have to guess with Lowe's. And you still don't have to guess with me to this day. If I feel something, I'm going to say it. I'm probably going to say it in a respectful way. I might have to think about how I say it now. Back in the day, it used to just come out how it came out, and it is what it is. Right now, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. That's not what I'm in the game of. However, I want y'all to be able to self-express. That's our time for today in the Shield. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all next week.
Have a good night.